So I started with the warm yellow, which is cad yellow, and I used plenty of water in that, and then going to go into the yellow and orange. We're going up. It's only a subtle change. Then I'm going to take a tiny bit of the alizarin crimson again, and plenty of water, and join it on, going over that line of where the orange stopped. And then we're going to finish off with a light wash of cadmium blue, which is the sky before this colourful sunset took hold. And I'm coming down the opposite way with that, down the way. And just touch the red. That's the corally colour. It's not very corally. If yours is all right, don't fiddle. That's it. I've been up and I've been down. I've got lines, but I'm hoping that'll dry okay. And that is the sky. I need a bit of twisted, clean tissue, dry, made into as much of a ball as you can, and decide where you want your sun. Don't have it in the middle. I mean, that's where mine will end up because it always does. But so I'm just putting it up there, pressing on, wiggling it a bit. Well, I'm pulling it off. And you have the sun. I'm just going to tidy that up. And I did it in the yellow. So with a thin brush and just water, just tidy that up. And then the last bit to put on, so clean brush again, is the violet haze that you get. And that's just going to go on underneath the sun. Probably need it darker than that because that will dry to wishy-washy, not really there. Now I've got such a... Is that still wet? I don't know. It is now. All right, let's go back into the red. And then get some more of that. And come down. I've got too many lines. It was not it didn't fade into each other. So I sprayed it, give it a quick squirt, and then it's fine. A bit of the mauvey purple that you made, I'm going to do a streak across the sky. Be bold. Okay? Mauvey purpley, and just like that. A few clouds. It was very quick. Just do. I've removed the tape. I'm just dipping my brush in a little bit of water. I'm going for the cadmium yellow, just in case it is a little bit damp. I just tapped it on the tissue. and I am pulling across and leaving where I put the line for the sun reflection. I'm leaving a gap. So I haven't replenished the brush. I haven't done anything. I am just scrubbing it in. Now I want the yellow and orange mix. So again, pick up a bit of the paint that we made earlier, tap it on the tissue and scrub it on the side. Bit more for that one. I'm leaving that gap. Now we can pick up a little bit of the alizarin crimson that you used, and you can actually just paint that across. Again, I've painted it. It's still got some sparkles in it. I've not pressed hard. Don't like that. Okay. And then we come to the purple at the bottom and just paint that as you did the sky. So starting at the bottom, go up till you get to the red. See, I still managed to get sparkles then. Make sure you've got a really dark bit of purpley stuff at the bottom. I've gone a bit over the red. Actually, I prefer it without all those sparkles. So I'm going to get rid of some. We've over sparkled on this. It's up to you though, if you like it. I'm just using plain water and getting rid of some of those sparkles. The wonder of changing your mind, eh? Stop fiddling with it then. Yeah, it is what it is. So I've now sprayed my sea a bit just to get it back to being a bit damp, and we're going to do the little waves. So just little lines with a hand that is shaky. Not too much water on the brush, not too watery paint, because we've just wet this. So little lines across the sea, going into the distance. And then we'll put the boat on. So we're just doing the lines on the yellow sea at the moment. Sometimes they go across that. And if you've got something, it's a bit of a hard edge, a clean damp brush and just go across the bottom of it, and it hides that line a bit. That looks me damp's run out. And there's little lines going back into the distance. I've left this space here because I'm going to put the boat in there. And change your colour to the alizarin crimson bit. And put some lines in there. Curve these a bit. So you like doing one like that, and then one like that. So like that, like that. Upward curve, downward curve. And run that slightly into the orange as well, so that it all works through. Maybe I just need a little bit more. You can get carried away. I probably should be. Now, that mauve on mine, purple, whatever, is a little bit dry. I'm going to take a bit of tissue, cover that up, and I'm going to give that a squirt. If you haven't got the squirt, with a brush, a very soft brush, just go over with some water, a little amount of water, but try not to touch the paper. I know that sounds difficult. So I've now got my purple is ready. And we're going to do exactly the same with the purple stuff, except we're going to put a little bit of Payne's grey into that purple mix that we used, because I want it a little bit darker, because this, as it gets close, it gets quite dark. And that's the sort of thing we're doing. So start where you want. And in with the waves. Leave a gap between them so that you they're not all one colour. I'm joining them up so that they're a specific shape, so that it gets like those round, well, semi elliptical shapes in the water. So I'm pushing a bit hard on some of them so that they become a bit bigger ripples. It's like that one there joined up, and then there's that one there. Doesn't have to be spot on, just And with a clean damp brush, I'm just going to wiggle that, some of the bottoms of those waves. Just blend them in a bit. Not all of them, just go round. And just keep looking at it as if, see whether it actually looks a bit like water. I'll start. The next bit is to pick up some Payne's grey and mix that in with that mauve that you've been using. So you've got a warm Payne's grey, or you could just put in some ultramarine, or just make that mauve a little bit darker. And then in some places, not all, just pick out those shapes. I've got one there that's, whoa, that's good for picking out. Oh, what about that one? Yeah. Ooh, that one there, yeah, that'll do there and there. You don't want too many, but it feels good because you think, oh, it's all coming together. And then if you do too many, it doesn't. All come together. Just that one there. Okay, then you put it down, Susan, and stop. Okay. So I've made my little boat. The sun is on the left-hand side, so that is going to be the lightest. And with a browny colour, I'm just blocking in the right side of the boat, which is going to be in the shadow. And with clean water on that brush, pull that paint to make that tiny side bit that I've got. If you've got a sideways on boat, don't worry about it. But if you've done it like this, then it needs to, that bit needs to be lighter. And if you've got it too dark, don't worry, just stroke it gently with a brush and then dab up the excess paint. And the little people, the two triangles with the heads, will be exactly the same in colour. And its little head, and the little heads aren't joined particularly. They're not far off the shoulders, but they're not exactly joined. Then we've got to put in some reflections. So I'm using the same colour and just mark where the boat is going to have its reflections. So that's all that is to that bit. And then we, keeping in those lines, just wandering outside slightly, with a shaky hand, move the brush about. And that's all it is. All I did is I went backwards and forwards with a shaky hand almost within that shape. You can have a little bit wandering off because the sea does that. So wander a bit off. Just redarken that. And the last thing we have to do is the birds. Now, I did a lot on this one because I thought it was a fishing boat and they're gutting the fish as they're coming home and throwing over the side. So the seagulls are there in loads and loads. So, I mean, I quite like that idea. So using the same dark paint, I'm going to do, so really, they're just little lines to start off with. Little curved lines. Then as they get higher up, you can make them a bit bigger and a little bit more pronounced. So mine are all at the back because that's where they're chucking all the rubbish. So he's late to the party, this one up here. There'll be none left for him. There really are quite tiny little marks. You can just do a little tick, a tiny tick for some of them. He needs to be a bit darker. That's it. I think we're done. You could probably put one at the top there who's really just not bothered by it all. Anything else? No. I mean, if you just darkening the boat up, this is the fiddling bit, obviously, and this is where it all goes wrong. So I'm going to put my brush down. I'm going to stop recording.